Everyone, and welcome to the NARSA weekly update for the week commencing Monday, March the 29th, 2021. It's Gary Gillan here, and I'm your host for this week's edition, and I continue to hope that everyone is still doing great and still basking in the glories of being unbeaten champions of Scotland. We thoroughly deserve every single moment of the success that's bestowed upon us, and let's just keep it going until the 22nd of May. I expect that this week's update will be a wee bit shorter than previous ones since we don't have any games to speak about and everyone has taken a wee bit of well-earned convalescence from all the partying, fun and hilarity that has ensued since the celebrations began a few weeks ago, but we'll see how we go. So, game segment, no games specifically from a Rangers perspective to talk about from last week, but we did have some of our players involved in international duty and enjoying somewhat mixed fortunes thus far at the time of recording on the 29th. The main thing for me personally is that they come back fit, energised and ready to finish the season as strongly as possible. The only one thing I did want to mention from this particular segment was just a wee tip of the cap, basically, to Stephen Davis and his incredible achievement of attaining 125 caps, now tying Peter Shilton's record, his record for England, of course. And he's now only one cap away from becoming the most capped British player of all time. I was kind of half hoping, maybe even assuming, to be really honest, that he'd get his 126th cap yesterday in their friendly with the United States, but they did choose to leave him out of the squad, which I don't think is a bad decision whatsoever for him and for Rangers. So hopefully he'll get that elusive 126th cap this coming Wednesday in their match against Bulgaria. What an amazing achievement and what an amazing servant he's been, not only to Rangers and the other clubs that he's played with during his career, and including obviously his international team Northern Ireland, but just generally to the game as a whole. An amazing professional and still to this day one of our most important players. I'm absolutely delighted for him and us that he's signed the 1-year extension for season 2021 to 2022, and that will help us greatly moving towards the 56th title in our 150th year. So congratulations and well done to him. You know, I don't mind admitting that, and this is probably hindsight now saying this, that rather naively at the time when he came back, I just wasn't keen on him returning to the club. And it was similar for me personally when Allan McGregor came back too as well. You know, I just personally wanted to forget all about the events of 2012 and wipe the slate clean on the whole episode and just move on without asking players from that period to come back and provide somewhat daily reminders of what had happened to us. But man, oh man, how wrong I was on both fronts, both from an obvious footballing perspective, but even more so from, you know, providing each player the opportunity to right the wrongs of their departure back when it all started to go wrong for us in 2012. I know how I felt just as a remote fan 4,000 miles away from the club when the event started to unfold from Valentine's Day onwards, and I kind of dismissed or just really didn't think about, to be honest, the impact to the actual genuine Rangers supporting players that we had in the squad as well. And you'll all know, most likely remember from back in those days when Stephen Davis did leave us and go to Southampton, he went to the ends of the earth to make sure that Southampton did actually have to pay Rangers at least some monies for his services when he signed. And by all accounts, I know that Allan McGregor was devastated at having to leave the club as well. So I'll take it on the chin, and I'll admit that I was 100% wrong. And concede that our current club leadership, especially in the football department, know more about the game than I do, and let's just move on from there. But fantastic service from both players to us, and congratulations again to Stephen Davis on a milestone achievement in British football. Our next game for this week will be the Scottish Cup tie against Cove Rangers, which was confirmed between last week's update and this week's update to be this coming Sunday with a 1:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time kickoff. Yeah, a nice wee later one for us and for everyone continuing to enjoy the games, and depending on where you are and what the restrictions are in your particular geographic location, you may be able to enjoy a beverage or two during the game as well. Then, after that, we have another long week with no Rangers action until we play Hibs at Ibrox in the first game of the post-match fixtures that we have. So as I mentioned last week, all being well, we will have 10 games left of the season, assuming we make it, not assuming in the lazy sense, that we make it to the Scottish Cup final on Saturday the 22nd of May. So we'll see how it goes and figure out what happens from there. But hopefully no slip-ups this coming weekend against the small Rangers. You'll also have seen this past week that next season's fixture dates have already been announced, and we'll be kicking off our title defence on the weekend of July 31st. Feels a wee bit earlier just by virtue of saying July before the date itself, and that will be a home game, which is a nice change for us from the most recent previous seasons. And we'll also get to see a lovely wee title flag unveiled on the very same day too. So I'm very hopeful that some fans will be able to make it into the stadium for that as well, but honestly, who knows how that's all going to be and how that's all going to look in West Central Scotland in the next, what would that be, April, May, June, July, next 4 months or so. Fingers crossed, we'll see how it goes. So the points per game stays the exact same as it was last week, which was 2.7 for us and 2.09 for our closest but very distant challengers from the east end of the city. Weekly reminder for the RTV vouchers. If you want or need any information on the RTV vouchers, please contact your president or secretary, who will get in touch with me and we'll get those organised, just in case we have any stragglers as we go into the final Old Firm game and hopefully a long cup run as well. Please don't hesitate to reach out and we'll get you sorted from that perspective. From a convention perspective for this week, as I discussed last week, we had sold out of our original hotel rooms allocation, and I imagine it has to be in record time. We're basically going within 5 days, and that's an incredible achievement, an incredible testimony to everyone's excitement to come and have fun with us down in Vegas. And we then had to go into re-enter negotiations with Caesars Entertainment Group to increase our room block. And I'm happy to tell you that we did just that. I literally just signed the contract addendum just before I started recording this tonight. And that was just around about 5:30 p.m. my time that we got that all organised. And we now will have the additional rooms available for booking. And I say will have as we haven't got that formally organised yet. I suspect we will be able to have that organised very early tomorrow morning, which would be Tuesday the 30th of March, and we will communicate via email and on our website and of course through social media as to when that is going to be organised. So please keep an eye on that and we'll get them opened up as quickly as we can. Between us, I have a sneaky feeling that it won't be the last time that we'll have to go through this process of renegotiating and signing addenda to contracts, but we'll keep a very close eye on it and make sure we accommodate as many people as we possibly can in the hotel. And I suspect at some point there will become a natural point when Caesars might inform us that, our special rate for the hotel can no longer be accommodated, and that's when the sold out stickers will be posted on our website and social media channels, and then we'll see how it goes from there. But as I've said before, the messaging is very similar to what I've been saying before. Please don't delay in booking your hotel when we communicate the fact that the rooms are open, especially, obviously, of course, if you're staying at the Planet Hollywood. If you're staying somewhere else, that's okay too, but come on, what? So some years you can wait. Honestly, you can wait until the last minute, but it's definitely not going to be like that for next year. So please get on it and avoid disappointment. I have had no fewer than 4 in the last week, people say, whoops, kind of missed that, didn't realise it was going to be so quick. Can you please let us know when it's going to be opened back up? And I know that there has been a lot of activity on our social media channel as well. And I did, on the social media front, I did want to thank everyone for being so positive about their excitement in booking up for the events today. We've been retweeting as much as we possibly can, and we have had numerous inquiries about the hotel in this past week, which I'm hopeful will be alleviated tomorrow once we get that all open back up. And people are also turning their attentions to the purchasing of tickets. And as I mentioned last week, that we haven't got that organised yet. I suspect we'll be on top of that round about early April time, and early April time is not this Thursday or Friday, but probably within the first couple of weeks of April, I imagine, just before we get all that locked in, get the process organised and take it from there. So we don't have any significant updates in terms of the prices or when it's going to go on sale, but I promise we are working on that as a priority to get that organised, because that really truly helps us understand what our numbers will look like as well, and then that can help us with planning for the venue and for the other excursions and things like that. So I wanted to place a special thank you for Andy Carey, who does all of our social media stuff, for his help in answering and fielding all of the questions that are coming his way. I know he has to repeat the same answer quite a lot of the time because people just miss it in terms of the scrolling through the social media stuff and all that. So thanks to Andy for all his time and patience and endeavour on that as well, and we'll hopefully get going a wee bit on the other stuff, as I say, and as April progresses. From another business perspective for this week, I did mention last week that we were going to be having a conversation with NordVPN, and we did actually have a chance to sit down with a fellow called Greg and a lassie called Jin from NordVPN last Thursday to discuss who they are, what they're doing, and what they hope to achieve from their partnership with Rangers. And I have to say, it was quite a multinational call. I was in Canada, in Calgary in Canada, where I'm based. Greg was in London, England, and Jin was in Lithuania. So quite the multicultural approach to the business that Rangers are doing. And what they did share was that the current deal with Rangers goes for 18 months, so it's not just a one-season deal, and it's one of these deals that's structured to be mutually beneficial for both NordVPN and for Rangers, and that's not always the case. Some of them is just like a one-time transaction where the organisation would pay Rangers a sum to have their advertising collateral displayed and on pre-agreed channels and physical places and things like that. But this is interactive, and this is for every NordVPN subscription that goes through the formal Rangers channel, Rangers will financially benefit from that. So if it is something that you're into, then please do and go to Rangers Partner and try and benefit the club at the very same time. So they also did recently launch a special champions code, which I'll tell you about here just now, that will give you an extra month subscription for free. So if you did hear my initial plug for NordVPN a couple of weeks ago, you'll remember that I don't really know what I'm talking about when it comes to this sort of stuff. And what I did do, one of the first things I did ask them when we chatted was, is this legal? And the answer was an absolute unequivocal yes, it's 100% illegal. Kidding, it's 100% legal. And there are some countries that don't have it, and we have information about where that is, but not mainstream countries that we would likely be trying to use it in and when people start to get to travel again and things like that. But 100% legal, and you get the benefits of having a more secure internet access to avoid more threats of hackers stealing your information, and also the ability, as I'd mentioned before, to pretend to be in another country to access content from there that you might otherwise be restricted from accessing. So my understanding is that a lot of UK bears use this type and style of technology to go on a, in inverted commas, holiday when the games are only broadcast on RTV for overseas fans. So there's always a workaround on that. So as part of the conversation, NordVPN did generously donate 5 free accounts for NARSA members and friends. So we will add this to the competition pile, and it is becoming a bit of a pile right now because we do have some stuff to get going on. So I promise we'll try and get going on the competition stuff this week as well. and get those out there. But not only that, you can also get 70% off of a subscription right now and the month free that I mentioned before by using the coupon code champion55 champion55. And NordVPN do a 30-day money back guarantee as well. So really, I'm going to sound kind of cheesy salesman-y here, but you genuinely don't have anything to lose by going and giving it a go. I did indeed get myself an account and I followed the process to install it, and I apparently am now more protected than I was before. I kind of feel the same, but maybe from an online perspective I'm more protected. I haven't yet truly put it to good use. I just installed it today, to be perfectly honest, but I promise to put it to good use between now and next week, and I'll give you a feedback on my experiences then. But what we will do, if you're interested in purchasing a subscription, please make sure you go via the Rangers website or go to the NordVPN Rangers specific area, and this will ensure that Rangers get credit for the purchase, which will enhance the incentives, of course, that Rangers do receive. And I'll make sure in the blurb that we have accompanying this on all the channels that we put it out, that those websites will be there so that you don't make a mistake and go and purchase a subscription, which unfortunately doesn't benefit the club. So interesting conversations, very, very nice people and good to deal with. And as I say, we'll get those competitions out for the 5 memberships, and hopefully we can have more bears protected in North America as well. So from a feature segment perspective, last week we managed to grab some time from Saint PHNX frontman Stevie Jukes, who's now my new best mate, and he walked us through his musical journey from gigging in Wishaw and Motherwell to headlining sold-out European tours, and how Rangers Football Club has truly been at the core of everything the band has accomplished to date. And as I'd mentioned in the blurb for advertising the interview last week, it really was an honest and revealing account, of building a global musical success story from the true foundation and basis that is a staunch Rangers family upbringing, and all the while ensuring the good word of our beloved club is truly spread across not just the music world, but the world in general, literally, as they go from country to country. So I found it absolutely fascinating. I found it a brilliant interview, actually, and Stevie is a genuine and fascinating guy. And some of the main takeaways I took from the interview were, obviously, as I mentioned, the solid, staunch family unit that he's come from, and he's more than happy to talk about that. And 2, his passion and drive to become the absolute best musician that he possibly can, and to be part of the best band that they possibly can as well, and truly embracing the sheer hard work and endeavour that it takes for anyone to get to the top of whatever profession it is they choose. And thirdly, his undying love for Rangers. I really did enjoy the interview, and I hope that you did too. If you haven't had a chance to check it out yet, please go and give it a listen and let me know what you thought. And for those of you who don't know Saint PHNX, please go do check them out, as they are a big deal in the world of music right now, and I'm sure they're only going to get bigger over time. So it's great to see guys of our own ilk really doing very, very big things in different arenas in the world. And these guys are certainly doing that. So congratulations to Stevie and Al for all the success to date, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what their journey looks like as they move forward. From a communications section perspective this week, I had a few things actually. I wanted to just draw your attention to, firstly, last Wednesday, the club formally launched our 150-year celebration build-up with a great article on the site, actually, and we'll put a link to the article in our blurb, and I do hope you take a few moments to try and check it out. I won't read everything out, but my good mate, James Bisgrove, Rangers Commercial and Marketing Director, did quote in the article saying, "Today marks the beginning of our build-up to our historic 150th anniversary celebrations, with a wide range of supporter-facing activities planned in the coming 12 months, culminating in the grand opening of new Edmiston House. Everyone at Rangers understands the significance of this landmark moment as we become the first major European club to reach this special milestone. We are looking forward to unveiling a host of initiatives that will inspire Rangers supporters both in Scotland and across the globe to join the 150th anniversary celebrations." At the same time, the club also did launch the special 150-year crest as well, which I think is absolutely beautiful. I really do. It's really, really nice. If you haven't seen that, you'll see that when you visit the article. And this is really exciting, so exciting on a whole bunch of different levels for both the fan base and the club at large. You know, we have 150 years to celebrate in 2022. We have the 50th anniversary of our European Cup Winners' Cup triumph in Barcelona, and of course 56 to celebrate, all in the 1 year, and maybe even a treble. I think, you know, Stevie delivering us a treble would be quite the celebration as well. And from a NARSA perspective, we've had very cursory conversations with the club over probably over the past almost 2 years now or so, and at this point the conversations haven't truly materialized into anything that's share-worthy right now. And I don't mean share-worthy as in I know stuff that I'm not going to share. There's just nothing really to share at this point in terms of what they would be looking to do and engage with us on here in North America. And we were very keen. The main thing, of course, would be to make sure that our convention didn't clash or compete with anything material that the club had on the go. And I am happy to say that based on the information that we have at this time, that it certainly won't. So you won't be missing out on anything back home to come and visit us in Vegas and have the party of a lifetime there. So I'm looking forward to engaging in more dialogue with the club over the coming weeks and months to see what they have planned and how NARSA can really help and support, and what unique opportunities might arrive from this historic year in world football for our great club. So we'll put the link to the article for that, but things are really starting to move in that area now, which is a great thing overall. Secondly, on Friday past there, the club communicated that, or the club website communicated that the Rangers Charity Foundation's 55 commemorative pin badge is now available for order. And they said the Rangers Charity Foundation is delighted to launch a new badge celebrating Rangers' historic 55th league title. It's now available to pre-order and is the only in capital letters, is the only official 55 badge on sale. To get your hands on this collector's item and show your pride in your club and support for your foundation, order your badge here, and there's a link, for just £3 plus postage and packing. And the estimated delivery time for the badge is likely to be week commencing the 10th of May, which is my beautiful baby boy's 12th birthday. And all proceeds, that's not in the article, that's just me saying that, by the way, and all proceeds from the sale of the badges help the foundation continue to be an incredible force for good in the community and with its charity partners on behalf of the Rangers family. The badge features the club's official 55 title logo with a classic Rangers blue background and the words Rangers Champions. It's a must-have for every fan, and again, we'll post a link to that as well. I have already a bunch on order, and I'm looking forward to receiving them, hopefully before the 22nd. I don't know that they'll be here before the 15th, unfortunately. And two last quick things. Rangers support of CAFE, and CAFE is the Centre for Access to Football in Europe. And CAFE has a commemorative week that's held annually to celebrate access and inclusion in football. And as part of the 2021 Week of Action, Rangers launched a new audio descriptive online commentary service which provides visually impaired supporters with detailed commentary through an online webinar as the matches are playing. So Rangers is, obviously groundbreaking again, and our groundbreaking diversity and inclusion strategy, Everyone Anyone, strives to ensure that every supporter feels welcome and part of our club as well. So just more stuff going on, to obviously not appropriate right now because we don't have games in the stadia. But once we get that Rangers are looking after the fans that need a wee bit more help and assistance to be able to experience what everyone else gets an opportunity to experience, without any of the ailments that they unfortunately have as well. So just brilliant stuff from the club, and another testament to the fact that we're moving in the right direction. And finally, and from a bit of a fun perspective, that you might have noticed on the weekend that the club also launched the Rangers FC Official Champions playlist on Spotify. And I thought that was such a brilliant idea to truly embrace the songs that have formed part of our recent history and our storied history a bit further back as well. and really cataloguing our journey back to the top. And in this playlist, which is available on Spotify, you'll find no fewer than 47 songs included. Obviously, We Are the Champions, great to be singing that one again. Penny Arcade, Simply the Best, Sweet Caroline, It's a Kind of Magic and stuff like that. Live It Up, of course, as well. So obviously, if you have a Spotify account, if you know what that is, and you can go and certainly access all that for the parties that are pending over the next wee while. But yeah, go check that out, and we will put the link on for that. So some fun stuff and some kind of diverse stuff from the club in this last semi-quiet week. I did check with the club today to see if there was any updates from the footballing authorities, both domestically and from a European perspective, on our COVID-5 offenders, in terms of what punishment is going to be bestowed upon them, and for the racist investigation that UEFA are conducting, and nothing has been received yet. Maybe by the time you get a chance to listen to this, there will be more information, but right now at the time of recording we don't have any of that. So from a this week perspective, I'm hopeful that we'll have another interview organised, and I do have a couple of interviewees lined up, and basically they are waiting for me to get my act together and get the interview preparation done and get the interview scheduled. At the time of recording, I'm truly not 100% sure who will manage to get over the line first, but either one of the two will provide another wee twist to the interviews that we've been doing, and will provide you with some very good edutainment from things in and around the Rangers world. So I'm not being intentionally cryptic. I just don't want to say that I will have a particular person on if I don't manage to get that particular person over the line. But we're trying to think out the box a wee bit with these interviews and provide things that are interesting to us, of course, and also that we think would be interesting to you, and just a wee bit of a different slant, rather than all being ex-players talking about experiences that we might have heard about before. So I hope that you're enjoying them to date, and again, as I say almost every week now, I think that if you have any interest in anyone within the Rangers family, even if it's someone who's on the scene and being interviewed by other podcasts, but you'd like to find out something different about them, please by all means get in touch, and we'll do our very best to see how that goes over the next wee while. And I guess I was going to say final reminder, but it's probably next week would be the actual genuine final reminder of our pending deadline for our proposed constitution changes and electoral positions for the new NARSA executive. The deadline is 1 week today, April the 5th, and that will be at midnight Eastern Standard Time. And I would encourage you to please not waste the opportunity. I know I said this last week as well, to have your voice heard and, to make a material influence and difference to the organisation as we move forward. And I did mention briefly last week that I had a couple of proposed changes in the works, and I can share with you, at a high level what those are right now. And don't take this as any form of campaigning or anything like that. It's just to inform you a wee bit more of the sort of things that are kind of top of mind for me. So the first one I'm going to be looking at is a formal profit sharing model for convention hosts. It was actually part of my election promise mandate that I'd put together back in 2018 when I was running for president, and I was supposed to raise it and get it put through, I should say, at the 2019 AGM in Windsor, Ontario, and I completely forgot. I did, and we can only change the constitution at the AGM, and obviously with our AGM being cancelled last year we couldn't do it, but I'll definitely raise it, hopefully get a seconder for it and raise it at this year's AGM and see what the membership feel about it. But I think further incentive, mutual accountability and further incentive to share the profits is an absolute no-brainer for me, so we'll see where that goes. And secondly is around our NARSA executive structure. I'm going to propose a little bit of a shift away from a geographic representation of our membership and more into something a bit more of a functional model, where we have directors responsible for specific functional portfolios, for example, communications, marketing, sponsorship, convention or events or something like that, a TV broadcast, that kind of thing, so that we can, I'm hopeful that if that was to be pushed through, that we would be able to attract different types and styles of resources. People that might not be interested in NARSA in its entirety, but would say, I have skills in that area, I have expertise in that area, I have time and passion for the club to be able to come and help out with that kind of thing, and makes things a wee bit more pointed as well. I think the geographic model served us very, very well for quite some time, but it's probably time to maybe try and look at a different type and style of structure as we move forward to make things a bit more streamlined, a bit more pointed, and have the right types and styles of expertise and the right types and styles of positions within the executive. But we'll see. Of course, there's a process that everyone has to follow. I don't get any special privileges just because of my role or position or anything like that. I follow the exact same process, and we'll see. And I shared that this week, just to encourage other people with any ideas that you think would improve even the most minute of processes that NARSA has, to get in touch and walk and talk through it, or follow the process and get it presented, and we'll be more than happy to do that at the AGM on the 5th of June as well. So I'm hoping, obviously, for a positive outcome in both, but if not, that's absolutely fine. Just the opportunity to present it to the membership will be good enough, and that's why democracy works an absolute treat. So yeah, that's it for this week, folks. When I said earlier that I thought this was going to be a shorter one, I should just have shut my face and not even bothered with that sentence, and it would have been at least one sentence shorter. That's the end of it for this week, folks. Have a very safe week and enjoy the Scottish Cup tie, and here's hoping for a good result and a good draw in the next round, and I will speak to you again next Monday. Take care, all the very best. Thank you very much for taking the time to listen, and please do share it with anyone that you think might be interested. Cheerio.